All right, indeed, you are listening to KSER and KXIR, and I am now joined in the studio by our special guest, St. John. St. John, how are you today?
Very fine. Good afternoon, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for making the time in your busy schedule to come and share your talents with all of our KSER listeners.
Oh, man, I love radio. I love DJs. If a DJ calls, I am here to serve.
That's fantastic. Fantastic to know that. You probably shouldn't have told me that because your phone will be ringing all the time now. Hey,
Cool.
Come on, do this. Come on, do that.
Nice.
Anyway, St. John is here because he's got a few shows in the region.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, Friday, November 10th, 7 p.m., Twin Rivers Brewing in Monroe, Washington. So all you fine folks in Monroe, you got some great entertainment coming your way tomorrow night. And then Saturday, November 11th, right here in the great city of Everett, 7 p.m. at the Bean and Vine, which is located at 1717 Hewitt Avenue. And that's going to be with Amy Blue, right?
Yeah, she'll be coming up from Portland. She's wonderful. They're both going to be delightful shows, both Monroe and the Everett show. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so there you go. And if you're wondering, if you're not familiar with St. John's music and you're wondering, well, what will it be like if I show up? How about you play us a song and we find out? And before you get started, let me just apologize to everyone. I did promise you all a live stream of the live performances, but we're having some technical difficulties, and I haven't quite been able to figure them out yet. So hopefully by the time John does his third song, we'll have it straight. But until then, here's St. John live in the Sunlit Room.
If I just lay down on the floor and hope I can't fall anymore, I look up in this dark room and it's feeling like some ancient tomb. I'm not Apollo, not some pretty Greek god, not that new town in the desert with the old west facade. I'm real, I'm here. You might have to ask for something, but I should just volunteer. I know this, please hear me now. You won't find a truer promise or a stronger spoken vow. You might turn and walk away, I might curse up something mean. You can't wash my mouth with bitter soap, I'll try to keep it clean. They never engraved us on some far-flung satellite, but we can't launch and leave this far behind that the sun reignites. I'm not Apollo, not some pretty Greek god, not that new town in the desert with the old west facade. I'm real, I'm here. You might have to ask for something, and I should just volunteer. Know this, please hear me now. You won't find a truer promise or a stronger spoken vow. No. Know this, please hear me now. You won't find a truer promise or a stronger spoken vow. Know this, please hear me now. You won't find a truer promise or a stronger spoken vow. No.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. St. John live on your radio right here at KSER.
Thank you.
All right, so you are originally from Victoria, British Columbia, is that correct?
Yeah, just up the coast a little bit. I was born there, and we moved to California when I was pretty young, and back and forth a little bit. And about 5 years ago or so, I moved up to Seattle. Yeah.
Now, that leads me into my first question. When you got here to Seattle, you recorded an EP called Welcome.
Yeah.
Now, how does a guy who just shows up in Seattle end up recording his first EP with Peter Buck, Bill Rieflin, and Scott McCaughey?
Yeah. So, I just lucked into it, man. They invited me up here to record, as a matter of fact. Bill and Peter. Peter was living up here at the time. And they had a cool studio in mind, and I had these songs, and this guy I knew down in LA said, I don't know what to do with them. Talking about me to Peter and these guys. I don't know where we could record them. He doesn't have a band, really. And he said, well, bring them up here. They're great songs. They like the songs. So I said, sure. And when this guy told me, he said, so I know these guys that would like to record your songs with you. Would you be into that? I said, oh, I'm sure, of course. And they said, well, and he couldn't tell me for a little while. It was like, it was like this big, some tension and all that. And he sort of gave me a hint about who it could be. And he just put like losing my religion in the replying email. I said, no, it can't. Is it Peter Buck from Art? And sure enough,
That's
come
amazing.
up here. And even when I got up here, the first day up here, and I had my guitar in hand, we were meeting at the studio to rehearse the songs. And even up until that point, I said, no, this can't be. Is this really, really happening? It's like some elaborate joke people are playing on me. And no, sure enough, I walk up and early, sure enough, everybody's early to the rehearsal. Everybody is professional, and there's Peter Buck walking up. I said, okay, here we go. Here we go.
That's pretty amazing.
It was awesome.
So they actually, requested that you come up, but during the recording process, obviously they liked the songs, or they wouldn't have asked you to come up. Did they offer you any insights or give you any suggestions on changes, or did they just say, this is good the way it is?
Oh yeah, no, they were all good they're all good for recording. What Peter said at one point, there was one song we were working on. I said, this could use a bridge. And Bill, the drummer, Bill is the most musical drummer maybe ever. He is so very in tune to how a song should be structured and things like. I said, well, maybe a bridge. And so this was a very daunting thing for me. I said, okay, yeah, we need a bridge. And I thought, are we going to do this together, or are they just going to look at me and expect me to come up with a bridge? I said, yeah, sure enough. And so it wasn't explicitly said, but I said, okay, let me see if I can just come up with something. And sure enough, I did it, and they were like, "Yeah, there we go. That's great." And we just went right on. I said,
oh, cool.
"Okay, I passed the test. I wrote a little bit of song now in front of these hugely accomplished, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame musicians." It was cool.
And for those of you that don't know, of course, Peter Buck, almost everyone would know that he was with REM. But Bill Rieflin, not only did he play some with REM, he was also in Ministry.
Oh, Ministry for a long time. He played with 9 Inch Nails a bit, and now he's playing with King Crimson.
Right.
That's no joke either. Yeah.
Because I know they were just in town over the summer, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize he was part of that.
Yeah, I have been very fortunate, very top-notch musicians.
Yeah. Well, Scott and Peter, for those of you that are fans of them, they're actually going to be coming through. They're playing with Alejandro Escovedo right now, and Alejandro's going to be playing coming up. So you can go to his website. But that's
rad.
Then this is about St. John.
Right, this is right now. But that's a good show to keep in mind. Yeah. But please, everybody out there, come on! I want to see it. The Bean and Vine in Everett. That's on Hewitt on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Saturday night, 7 p.m. Now this, the EP Welcome, it was actually your third release, right?
Correct, yeah.
You had recorded, what was it, Mercy and...
Halo, yeah.
Mercy,
so I had a full length and an EP, and I self-produced those. I recorded those at home and got really good musicians for those.
That's what I was going to ask. Were those solo, or did you have studio musicians?
Mostly it was solo. I played most of the instruments, but I did have some help with a bit of the drums and a bit of keyboard and stuff, which is nice. that was a great process for me, though, because I learned how to use all the gear. I learned how to do what is recording like,
Right.
at least at that certain level, at least the home level. But then when you get up to Seattle to record with the REM guys, that was a whole new way, because we got into a professional studio,
Right.
and I couldn't say, hey, I don't really know how to work this machine here or something like that. So what I would do is I'd watch them a little bit for a second and just pretend, oh yeah, I'm just stalling for a second. I'd watch them, okay. And then I'd walk up to mine and I'd twiddle the knobs and do the same thing. Yep, that works. Okay, pass that test.
Now those first two CDs, are they available anywhere? If people go to your website, are they available or are they out of print?
Not really. I'm pretty brutal about my releases. Once they're out of print, they're almost done, and I don't really have anything streaming right now either. Right. For also this, I like people to come to shows. This is my full-time job. I'm a live musician, especially. Right. And I'd love to see people at shows and come and get the live interpretations. And
to make sure that you don't miss any shows in your area, St. John's website is updated on a regular basis. It is sjatr.com. That, of course, stands for St. John and the Revelations.
Right.
sjatr.com. So you can head to that website at any time, find out information about new releases, new shows in the region, and all things St. John and the Revelations.
Yeah.
How about we go ahead and hit them with a second song, and I'm going to ask you to do something for me right now, because the live stream is not working. We are going to be able to face stream live this thing now. So if you would, could you pull the mic down just a little bit, because it's right in the middle of your face.
That's probably better.
Yeah.
But sure.
That's all right. Well, you're the artist, so we'll do it your way.
I should have worn my mask.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. St. John live in the Sunlit Room, and the live stream is working, so you will be able to see this live at KSER.
Come and say
Facebook
hello.
Page. So check it out.
See in you, I thought I was doomed to my abyss, but your smile came to my rescue. What do you want? What do you need? Are you asking the sky right now? Maybe you'll find that some of it, the God's on me and out on. I walk like a madman, I dance like a madman, I dream like a madman, oh, to be your man. Oh, I hope like a madman, I dance like a madman, and I dream like a madman, oh, to be your man. Well, knocked down, picked up, seeing you, now there's thunder in my soul. I feel like I was a starving man with a never-empty bowl. No, I hope like a madman, I dance like a madman, and I dream like a madman, oh, to be your man. Oh, I hope like a madman, and I dance like a madman, and I dream like a madman, oh, to be your man. Was never here before, it might not come again. I wanna be calm, I wanna be cool, but how can I maintain when I walk like a madman, I dance like a madman, and I dream like a madman, oh, to be your man. Oh, I hope like a madman, and I dance like a madman, and I dream like a madman, oh, to be your man. Your man.
John with the song Madman, and indeed that is off the EP we were discussing earlier. Welcome. Will you have any copies of that available at the show? If
That's right. Yeah, we're just down to our last 13 copies, though. Seriously, yeah.
You better
yes.
come to the Bean and
I
Dine
love it. I love it.
Saturday night.
And then we're recording a new record now, so hopefully
excellent.
maybe next year you guys will be able to buy something new. But until then, you got to come to the shows.
That's right, indeed. Now, we covered a little bit in the first segment there that you were born in Victoria, BC, and moved to California. How old were you when your family moved down here to the States?
The first time, 3 years old, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, or so it was pretty young, but then we moved back and forth a bit. So it's sort of hard for me to define exactly what happened.
Now, do you have dual citizenship because you've lived in both places, or
Canadian? I have a green card, so
Gotcha.
so they let me work in this,
Right.
Yeah. And I've had it forever. I've had it since I was young. My mother got it for us.
Well, and that's why I was asking, because I've had a former guest, a duo by the name of the Sumner Brothers, and they have the dual citizenship, and all of their Canadian friends are jealous because they can come into the States and work and play without having to pay the extra.
Yeah,
So
it gets to be a bit of a hassle when you want to cross the border, and that fee is not, it doesn't work both ways all the time, and it's a hard thing to balance about, because Canadian art, we want American artists to go up to Canada and perform and back and forth, so that should be a free interchange as much as possible.
And I agree 100%. There should never be anything that stands in the way of music or makes it more difficult.
Get out of the way of art.
At
least get out of the way of art. I think there are a bunch of cool things that could be done for, if you prove yourself, if you're a working artist, you know what, you get free bus passes, or just things that can make society should have more things like that to buffer a little bit and push art up a little bit. I think because art, obviously, we need it all the time, and it makes cities proud. Look at
it's the one thing that brings us all together.
Oh yeah.
And even if we don't all like the same art, it's the one place left in the world where we don't have to all like the same things, and we can actually have civil discussions about why we like it or why we don't.
True.
Everything else, it's like we've degraded as a society to third grade out on the playground. It's I don't agree,
harsh.
Pop.
It's really harsh, and nobody has the right words to say anymore.
No.
And fortunately, when you soften the blow with a little bit of art. We're a very progressive band, but I perform a lot in very conservative areas, or in folks who, a lot of folks who have voted for people I would never imagine voting for.
Right.
And I perform songs titled like "White Hoods in the White House," so you might be able to gauge more, what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
But I have to do that, and I have to be able to perform those songs and still get along with you. And I love that because it does foster more of a conversation.
Indeed.
And get people off their Facebook and back, into live shows and whatnot.
Again, as you brought that up, as I'm sitting here with a cell phone in your face, live streaming this.
Hi, Facebook. Hello.
How distracting do you find it? I've been having this conversation with a lot of artists over the last few months as they come in. How distracting is it to have all those cell phones up in your face while you're performing or trying to perform? Are people taking pictures or recording it?
Oh, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum of things. Part of it is I don't want to diss the whole thing because I really appreciate the fact that people say, oh, I like this moment. I want to take this moment maybe into the future or share it with other people.
Right.
They really do that. That's cool and that's a good way. But but it's also distracting when I'm sometimes performing a new song.
Sure.
And I just want them to listen and maybe appreciate it, and everyone's people have got the phones already out, and I still really do appreciate that, man. I can't knock it because that means they want that art. Right. But for me, I do also, part of me just wants a second to play it for for a person.
Well, and also as an artist, I'm sure there's a certain amount of you want to be the one that decides when that's released to the public. Not some guy who takes a video on his phone and puts it out there. That might you might not be finished with the product yet. You might not want that to see the light of day.
We wish, man. Those days are long gone.
Yeah,
we don't. I don't even think about. That's not even I wish that maybe 2 cells in my body could still dream of a day that might be the case. Where, But that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, well, you know, the only way it will happen, you keep on working along, and maybe one day you get to that Springsteen level of success, and then you can stop in the middle of a show and chide your audience for applauding.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the world's biggest Bruce fan, but I'm not quite sure what he's doing with the Springsteen on Broadway thing, where he won't allow people to applaud or comment. It's like, Bruce, man, your music is a celebration. Let the people do what they want.
Yeah, it's really when you hear the artists and they're talking to their fans, and you're just not quite. And clearly, Bruce Springsteen is not gonna hurt anybody. Like, I know Bruce, he's got to have like the right heart for. He's got to be like, I'm not. I don't think he really is mad at any of his fans at that point. But it is a moment of just like, come on, that we did design it a certain way. And if you could appreciate that certain way for a moment, you also might get more out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know.
And yeah, that's definitely where Bruce is coming from. He's like, this is a special moment. Let's not ruin this. Just, be in the moment with me.
Yeah.
And then, because you got to figure, as a fan, especially in this late point of his career, he doesn't do anything that isn't recorded and at some point released. So we'll all get a chance to see it someday. It's like, let that theater experience be what it was meant to be.
Yeah, I have fans out there that have more of my songs than I do recorded. They it's odd. Like, sometimes I might even just put up a demo for a second, then I'll just delete it. But somebody just grabbed that with one of those MP3 grabbers that you get online or something.
Right.
And just slurped it right on down.
That's gone. But anyway, to get back to the early part of your career, how old were you when you picked up a guitar, or was that the first instrument you played?
Yeah, it was, because when I was a kid, I wanted to play piano. Mm-hmm. I loved the piano. I loved piano players. But then I had a very good friend, and he was learning how to play metal on his guitar. Okay, cool. But that wasn't music for me. But I kind of looked and said, well, if I got, the more acoustic version of that, I could play some Beatles songs or something. And ever since I was very, very small, I've been maniacal about music. I've been a huge collector, tapes, CDs, and everything. And so to be able to finally... And that was around, I think it was about 16 or 17. It was pretty late in the, a lot of musicians start pretty early.
Right.
I just started early maniacally listening, I guess.
And then you got to actually live the dream that a lot of us have. Some of us have given up on it, but not all of us. And that is after you finished high school, you actually did hitchhike across Europe playing your music while you were out there. So kind of a learning vacation.
That's right.
Go to speak.
I didn't think it was weird. I'm hearing back after. I just thought that's what you were supposed to do. I thought you were supposed to go to Europe with your backpack and your guitar
and just do it
and just get lost. Yeah,
and it's
did it a couple of times.
That a lot of us would like to do, but not all of us have the guts, I think. And I love the fact that to you it was like, I didn't know it was something special.
Yeah, I just thought, I saved up a bit of money for a plane ticket. It was open ended, so I didn't even have to know when I was coming back. Right. And it worked out. I was playing. I landed in Switzerland, and I had my guitar with me. And I thought, if I got there, and I was like, if I don't take this guitar right now down to the town center and start busking, I'm going to be just hauling this guitar with me for the next 3 weeks, or however, because I was only going to be there for 3 weeks. It ended up being months. But and I thought, I'll just be hauling this guitar. And I went down there, and I made like 90 Swiss franc or whatever, and that was equivalent to like $60. So within an hour and a half, and the cafe across the way, the manager came out with a little platter with a couple of beers on it and left that for me. So I had a couple of beer, and and there was a Greek falafel stand right next to me, pretty much. And he came over and gave me a falafel. So I said, I've got a couple of beers, I've got food, and I just made a bit of money. I think I'm not leaving, and that was it for me. I kept going.
That's absolutely fantastic. Do you, through those years, through those memories, is there a specific place that stands out to you as a favorite, and a place that you would like to go back to again and play in a more professional setting?
Yeah, I loved Dublin. I loved Dublin. And I had my first real professional show, and was in Trier in Germany. It's this old, it used to be a Roman city.
Oh, okay.
And so they have Roman ruins there and everything. It's an old. It might be. I think it's the oldest city in Germany possibly. And
Wow.
so you get to see all these old buildings. They've got a footpath that's been there for 1,000 years or something, 2,000 years. So you're playing there, and I'm busking there. I'm just imagining how many different types of people have gone up and down this way.
Right.
And so I wouldn't mind. And then I got invited to play at a pub then.
Oh,
So that was my first time going up on stage and playing at a show. And so I wouldn't mind going back to Trier to do that maybe.
Was that a different feel for you, and were you surprised that you had different feelings being on the stage other than busking, or was it no different for you?
I was thinking about it just recently. It was one of the only time I don't get nervous before I go onto a show, but I do remember that time I was like, for a moment I was a little bit, I was like, what is this? I'm used to playing in the street and people coming up and throwing money in the thing. And now I'm going to be up on, and the place was packed.
Oh.
And the walls were sweaty, and it was just. I mean, the guy who invited me, he was opening, and he running the whole night really, and he got them going, and everybody was dancing and having a good time, and then fortunately they were a bit drunk at that point too, I think, because he had me up there for my first show, but it seemed to go well, so I was stuck.
Well, I know this is difficult to believe, but we are just about out of time already.
Beautiful.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Thank you.
So, do you have one more song you could give us before we say goodbye?
Indeed. Let's see. Yeah.
For just a second there. Just a second. I thought you were going to say, no, I don't.
No, later on. Have a good one. Enjoy your afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, St. John in the Sunlit Room.
Storms that threaten to block your sunshine's rays, I'll keep you warm, I'll set your heart ablaze. Well, I wanna make a fuss all night over you. I wanna make a fuss all my life over you. We'll sail the world, we'll climb the peaks, see all the magic views. It's the least I can do. And then choose your stars and I'll pluck them down and present them all to you. You can have the moon too. Well, I won't make a fuss all night over you. I wanna make a fuss all my life over you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. St. John live on KSER in the Sunlit Room. All right, so it's Friday night in Monroe at the Twin Rivers Brewery. Saturday, November 11th, right here in Everett, 1717 Hewitt Avenue at the Bean and Vine for St. John. And that show on Saturday night is with Amy Blue.
Yes, and December 10th. This is a super
that.
important show.
Okay,
come on, Ron.
I wouldn't leave you out.
Come on.
This is Sunday, December 10th. Tractor Tavern in Seattle, a full band show. The whole thing. St. John and the Revelations are all going to be there.
Cello, drums, bass, backing singers, string. Oh, good.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Going to be good.
Thanks, Ron.
Take someone you love. It's an excellent early holiday treat. You know, spend the day in Seattle doing some holiday shopping and stop at the Tractor Tavern for St. John and the Revelations.
Smart.
Can't beat it. But if you're still a little bit on the fence, trust me. Go to the show Saturday night, 7 p.m., the Bean and Vine in Everett, and you will be convinced that you will want to see as many of this man's shows as you can possibly see. So once again, thank you for being here. Any last thoughts, anything else you'd like to throw out to the listeners before we say goodbye?
No, I'll see you soon in the show. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, KSER. This has been a joy. Looking forward to the next time.
It's been our pleasure, and we can't wait. Hopefully you will have that new record available next year, and you'll be right back here in the Sunlit Room promoting that.
Cool.
All right. Well, once again, the website is sjatr.com. And there you'll get all things St. John and the Revelations.